Hi, I'm Dave with Equal-i-zer Hitch. Today the video that we're going to do for you will show you how to properly set up the weight distribution on your Equal-i-zer hitch. Now, we've already taken the time to set the hitch head to the correct height on the shank. We've also set the brackets up back on the trailer, so that's ready to go. And for this video, we're just going to focus on the weight distribution. This is section 6 of the Equal-i-zer Owner's Manual, and we're going to be using that weight distribution setup table today as well. So the first thing that we need to do is we get the truck and the trailer aligned with each other, and we have it set up so you can see they're straight in a line, and then we leave all of the weight off the hitch. So our first measurement now comes from the front wheel wells with no weight back on the hitch at all, and that gives us our base starting measurement. So let's go do that. So this first measurement that you want to take goes right from the ground through the front axle, and you pick your spot right here at the front axle or front wheel well to measure, and this one is right at about 38 inches. Now the next measurement that we're going to take is dropping all of the tongue weight of the trailer onto that hitch, and what you're going to see is the weight come off the front axle, which will show by the front wheel well lifting up, and then we'll take our second measurement here. Okay, so this is now we're dropping the full tongue weight of the trailer onto the hitch, but without any weight distribution whatsoever. So the rear axle and the tow vehicle are taking the full tongue weight of the trailer. You can see now we've got space here. That's completely loose. All of our tongue weight's on the hitch itself. Now we're going to remeasure at that exact same spot on the front axle. Okay, so here we are. And this one we've come back up to just about 38.5 inches, or just a little less than that. Now we're going to use this weight distribution setup table that we have here. We've marked our line A. That was our unloaded vehicle height, which is 38 inches at the front fender. And now with the weight on there, it's coming up to 38.5 inches. So ideally, what we're looking for with correct weight distribution is to get at least halfway back. So we need to get back to 38.25, and even lower than that, back down to the 38 is good. But we want at least halfway back, which would be 38.25. So now we're going to put our weight distribution bars, the spring arms on, and we'll put the weight distribution back into the vehicle and see how that affects us. So right there we've got most of the weight off there's the weight off the jack, and now those spring arms are holding the weight of that tongue. Okay, so we've got our weight distribution set up. Our spring arms are carrying the weight of that tongue, and we're going to go check our front axle and see where we are again, see if we need to make some adjustments. Now you can see we're actually at about 37.75 from where I was looking at it before. So this one is actually slightly over adjusted. So that means we've got either the L bracket's too high, or we've got too many washers in our pre-angle setup. So we're going to go take one of the washers out, and that'll release some of the weight distribution, and that should put us back right down to about 30 inches or 38 inches where we want to be. So to remove this washer, what we're going to have to do then is take the hitch down, uncouple it, and then we'll remove these bolts here, and we'll take one of the spacer washers out. That'll put a little bit less pre-angle on the hitch or preload, which means that it won't have to come up so far here, which will give it less weight distribution overall, and that should get us, I think, right about the 38 inches, which is about the best weight distribution you can get. All right, so Jason now is what we're doing here is we're backing off the angle set bolt a little bit. That loosens it up here. That's good, and now we'll remove the shank bolts and we'll take one of the washers out of the head. So we remember which hole we had this in. These are the holes we had that in to get it set the correct height for the hitch ball. Now Jason's just going to remove one of the washers, And then we'll place it right back in the same place there. Now this is what you would do on the initial setup. You of course wouldn't want to do this every time if you had to adjust your hitch. If you change the loading of your trailer, you know, maybe you got full water tanks or you're loaded for a long trip instead of a weekend getaway. In that case, if you notice that you needed a little bit different weight distribution, you would just use the adjustments back here at the L brackets and move them up a hole or down a hole, and it would do exactly the same thing. But since this is going to be kind of a permanent setup, we want to get it right the first time. Now we've got our spring arms back on the L brackets, so we'll lower it down and put the weight back on the spring arms, back on the hitch, and we'll recheck that front axle again. Now if we take a look right here close, we can see we're back just about exactly where we started. So that's perfect. That's as much weight distribution as you want. You don't want to go over that because that'll be a dangerous situation, but back to where you started is great. Your rear wheel well will be a little bit lower, and that's where you want it to, because you want some of that trailer weight resting on the rear axle to keep that more firmly planted on the ground and steady the combination of the tow vehicle and the trailer as well. So that's what I would consider just about as good a setup as you can get. So you can see now with the weight distribution on there, the truck and the trailer are sitting much more level instead of having a sag at the hitch like it was before without the weight distribution.